Hey there, everyone. I wanted to go over what the replit assignment is, just so you have a better idea of what it's asking for and how it's going to work, since we'll probably be doing many of these little replit problems in the next few weeks. So basically, these problems are similar to coding bad problems, except instead of you clicking the run button in coding bad and getting red checks or green checks, when you click, you're going to write a method that's described in comments, and then when you click run, it's going to it's going to show you what happens if you run the code that you wrote. Um, with specific input, and then it'll either say hooray if your method's output matches what the output should be if it's working correctly, or it'll say grr if your code doesn't work. Okay, so for example, and I have two of them for today. One is called middle value. So this should be at the very top of the code window for this assignment. In lines 4 through 19, it gives a description of what middle value, how middle value is supposed to work. It says, write the code that will return the sum of the values assigned to the elements in the very middle of the array. For example, if the array is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the method should return 7 because 3 and 4 are assigned to the middle elements and 3 plus 4 equals 7. You may assume that nums, I should say, has an even number of elements. So the hint is that, as you may recall, the length of an array is how many elements it has. So it turns out that these two elements in the middle are can always be their index or their positions can always be computed by dividing the length of the array by 2 and then maybe adding or subtracting 1. All right, so that's how you would determine the positions of the middle elements in the array, and then you would simply add them together and return the sum that you get. So just to show you what the output will look like, I'm going to comment out a portion of it, or a portion of the code. And I'm just going to say, even though I know this is going to be wrong, let's just say, so that you have a return statement, let's just say return 10. Because it's supposed to return an int value that is the sum of the values assigned to the two middle elements of this array. So if I click run, let's see, what do I get? I get an error, of course. Cannot reassign A equals reverse Z. Did I misspell it? Whoa, that's something else. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, let me pause for 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So I'm going to click the run button. And when I click run, in the output window, what do I see? I see middle value 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 should return 15. Yours returns 10. Grr. All right. So if now mine always returns 10 because I put in return 10. But if your code works correctly and you actually, write the code that will always return the middle two values of any array of ints with an even length, then you should get something that looks like this. And the same is going to be true for the second assignment. And the second assignment is called reverse. Okay. And so basically the way reverse works is supposed to work is it says given an array of ints of length 3, return an array of 3 ints with the values of the original array in reverse order. So for example, if you call reverse with the array 1, 2, 3, it should return 3, 2, 1. All right, so to solve this one, you can make a new array if you want with the elements of the original array, which is called nums in reverse order, or you can just modify the existing array and return it. So let me comment out just so you can see what it should look like when you're running it. I'm just going to add some code that's going to produce something. Just and return X. Now that's not the code you will be using. I just want to get code that will return something. You can see what the output will look like. All right, and then let's see, I need to do down here, I need to do comment out. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, I need to get rid of that. Okay, so this is what the output should look like. Now it'll tell you if your method produces the right answer or not, and it'll either say hooray or grr. Okay, so I hope you're able to give these a shot. These are very similar to the coding bat problems, and this way, you know, I should have an idea as to how many people are actually can figure it out on their own, or or if people were just Googling the answers for coding bat. But since these aren't coding bat problems, but they're similar, you know, that should give us a good idea. So you can reach me in the afternoon, either on Google Hangouts Google Meet, or via email. So I glance over, I have an auto refresh method for Gmail so that it automatically refreshes my Gmail screen every 60 seconds. So hopefully I should pick up on any contacts pretty quickly. And I've had a second successful time with Google Meet in a conference. So you should give it a shot. All right, cheers. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention. When you click run, it's going to try to run both methods at the same time. So unlike CodingBat where it's only testing one of them, it's going to test both of them at the same time. So in order for you to be able to finish middle value, I need to have some output for the reverse one. So I added 2 lines of code in the reverse section right here. The very first thing you should do when you're writing reverse is delete these 2 lines of code. And same for middle value, you want to immediately delete return 10 and then replace it with your own code. Those are just there in both cases, so I could show you what's going to happen when you when you click run. And you may have to scroll up to get these stars are going to separate both problems. And when you run it, you're going to see the very end where it tests your reverse array or your reverse method. So you may have to take the scroll bar and scroll up to see what middle value, if your middle value method is working correctly. I'm probably going to eliminate maybe so that you don't have quite so many stars. I think I overdid it when I wrote this. And also, if you scroll down in the code window, starting at like line 76 or somewhere around there, you're going to see all this code here That's the code that tests your method. So you don't need to make any changes to that code. In fact, you shouldn't make any changes to that code. You should only be making changes here at lines 22 through 25. That's where your code for middle value goes. And in lines 44 through 49, that's where your code for reverse goes. All right, hope that may clarify anything.